Got absolutely everything now moving down into new lows. It's absolute wreckage out there within both the crypto markets and the stock markets, right? So this is not just crypto related, it is global related. So in today's show, we'll have a look at where the next major levels of support are, where you could find some relief. And then I'll also talk to some of those of you who have lost a lot within crypto, right? If you feel like you've lost it all, there is actually a poll that we're running right now, and you can actually see what that looks like. You know, what percentage of your capital is currently in the market, and currently, you know, you're seeing 48%, at least half of you over here voted that you're sitting with 75 to 100% of your capital still in the market. So I definitely am understanding. I'm here for you guys, and just know that you're not absolutely alone when it comes to this within the markets. We'll talk about what you can do as well. And then for the rest of you that are in cash, who did follow along with me when I actually exited, well, we'll talk about what our plan would be next. So smash the like button, hit the bell notification, subscribe to the channel. Let's get into it. That is your crypto charts on the daily, looking at the banter bubbles over here. Absolutely everything is red. There's not even one, right? Leo's up 4.23% on the day. Otherwise, everything in the top 100 is red. And if you look at the stock market, well, it's not very different, right? The stock market putting in those crypto-like dumps, right? Some of the things in the double digits. So we'll have a look at those as well. The fear and greed index on the stock market in all sectors is in extreme fear over here as the stock market does continue to pull back, right? So there it is, MACD crossed towards the downside. There is a lot of room for those moving averages to come down. And this is going to be a major level if you start to take out this low at about 5,692. Well, that could elicit a lot of panic, right? Definitely a lot of panic in the stock market over there. If you look at the QQQ, already starting to create a new swing low over there. So definitely some signs that things are starting to crack, right? But sometimes it's always darkest before the dawn. And this may be the thing that's needed or required, a big breakdown in the stock market to actually have the US do something, right? In terms of the Fed. And that could create a much needed shift, right? Dow Jones, lower high over there, not yet a new swing low. Look at NVIDIA, even NVIDIA putting in -8% crypto-like drops over here, which in terms of market cap, you know, this is like $500 million, just a small move that's wiped out of the NVIDIA chart. MicroStrategy, we've spoken about a lot. Free fall, down 55.83% from the highs over there. It will find a little bit of support at about 60% down. So it's still got a little bit further down to go over the course of today. We can look at Coinbase. Coinbase, not as bad as the others, but still downtrending and approaching this trend line. If it does break this trend line over here, that's not going to be looking good. It's going to start to fall very quickly. And then we have Tesla down 42.41%, which I think long term, this is a great chart over here, but I'd wait for some sort of relief. We were looking at the fair value gap potentially holding. Is it going to hold? Not sure yet, right? We need to give it a bit more time. But anyways, this could come down as low as 48% and still maintain that bullish structure with the previous high low being within this zone over here. So it is carnage out there, right? Absolute carnage. Everything is down. If you look at this over here, for those of you that are at least in cash, there will be some opportunities. The other one that I was interested in over here is Sol Strategies with the ticker named HODL, right? Following the same strategy as MicroStrategy. If you see major bottom forming on Solana, you know, this could be one to watch, right? This is like a leverage bet on Solana, highly risky, of course, but this also down, you know, from top to bottom over there, 66%. So getting smashed, coming into support, but like Solana also coming into support over here. I said, based on the acceleration into this area, my expectation would be that you wipe straight through it and then you look for some sort of a rebound. And then what you need to be really careful on across the board is that relief rally coming into lower highs, right? Complacency bounces, which then theoretically could lead into a bear market, right? One chart that you have to keep a crystal eye on is going to be this. This is the DXY, which is kind of your last bit of hopium, right? That you put in a rejection over here. But based on the strength of yesterday's candle on the DXY, it looks to me like this thing's going to bulldoze straight through and continue. And if it does, if this does bulldoze through this downsloping trend line and continue on over here, you know, this could still be macro bullish, right? And this thing could be going much higher. Remember that we previously had, I think I still have it over here. Let's just quickly throw it on our parallel channel, right? We previously had our parallel channel over here on the DXY, which looks like this. What it means is if you do bulldoze through that level, the worst case scenario would be seeing the DXY continuing this behemoth rally towards the top of the trend line over there, at which point, you know, you would expect that you're going to go into a mini bear market. So just quickly going back onto the daily time frame over here to showcase what you would want to see if you're looking for the bullish perspective, is you'd want to see a rejection of this trend line right over here and some sort of a downtrend commencing where we continue to put in the lower lows and lower highs. In the short term, we do have that on the DXY. We have lower highs, we have lower swing lows. We kind of caught in this parallel channel over here. If I essentially just clone that over here and we can move that across, you can see what I mean over there. You got this parallel channel over here, but this could also theoretically be viewed as a bull flag, right? Because you have a strong move up here. There we go. And that parallel channel, if it does break through the top side over here, would be the equivalent of a bull flag, which means you're looking at high prices, which is why this is a very, very critical and significant point, which is currently where the DXY is capped. It's also the point where we're looking for the deviation back below the horizontal, and we wanted to see acceptance gained underneath to send this down, which means that if you do get back above this level, not only are you breaking out of the bull flag over there and breaking that downsloping channel or parallel channel out to the top side of there, but you also gaining acceptance back above the yellow box, which means that theoretically that becomes a long trade towards the upside, and that would be pretty brutal for all markets, right? So a lot of moving parts. Emotions are very, very high. I understand, definitely. You need to trade the chart that's in front of you. The other one that I'm looking at, which is more crypto specific, is going to be this. So DXY kind of gives us some forward guidance of what may potentially be coming for the traditional markets, because crypto is so tightly correlated to the traditional markets. Looking at the USDT dominance is going to be the most specific thing we can look at to see what happens within the crypto markets, right? So there it is, right? Here we're looking at this chart over here. This is the USDT dominance. And, you know, it's bulldozing onwards and upwards, right? Pretty powerful over here coming into this region, which you would have wanted to see a rejection, a little bit of a double top over there and some sort of a pullback. But again, based on the momentum that we see over here, this is very, very strong. And this is exactly what we spoke about over the course of this week. What we said over here on the channel, on the show, is that we said, you know, if you do put in another 5 to 6%, which was realistic, and that's exactly what we've done. If you look on the right-hand side, it's 5.5%. You can see even more carnage. And I'll say the same thing again. If you continue this trajectory all the way up, where it depends on when it hits this level, but this is going to be your next major zone of resistance. If you do continue that trajectory, this would be absolutely catastrophic. You're talking about another 15% then on a very powerful move over here right now on the USDT dominance, alongside what the DXY is doing. If that does actually play out, you know, this has the potential to really drop the market. So if you are in a cash position, theoretically, you're making more Bitcoin. If you do use a portfolio tracker, for example, like CoinStats, and you click on the top left over there and you move into Bitcoin denominated terms, even though your USD value is remaining the same, what you'll notice is you'll see your Bitcoin value is still going up, right? So we would need to see a little bit more of a pullback over here. Nothing ever goes up in a straight line. There will be pullbacks along the way. But right now, this is much more bullish than bearish. We spoke a lot about this yesterday as well, in the sense of where the USDT dominance was situated back in 2021. Let's just quickly go to this chart over here. Back in 2021, we spoke about it when we had this double top scenario. We spoke about the relationship between the divergence between price and the RSI, the similar pattern that we're putting out right now in the RSI. And then we spoke about what the USDT dominance was doing back then and the similarities of what it's doing right now, which is essentially bouncing off of this zone over here. The problem is that if you do start to get back and you break above this level, well, at that point, everyone will know 100% that it is a bear market. I'm not ready to make that call yet, but if that did happen, remember, you always need to plan for the worst case scenarios, at which point over here, you would be playing out a W formation, the break of the neckline over there. W formation would send this all the way up to about 8.5%. And in that instance, I would expect that, you know, crypto goes through a full-on bear market. With that being said, right now, the timing, which again, if you want to know more, just go back to yesterday's show. We spoke about the timing and why we think it's less likely to be a long-term bear market, but maybe get a mini bear or a massive shakeout over here. Again, we're just simply planning for the worst. So level to level, right? If you do want to short the market, because ultimately that's what we're going to have to look to do on the next major bounce, then there is a link in the description below that will take you through here to Blofin. They're currently running a trading competition, the Ace of Trades, where you can win $5.6 million, right? if you win that, right? It's running for another 6 days. There's no KYC over here. They have fire blocks to protect your funds, so there's no chance of an FTX-like collapse on an exchange like this. Moving on to actual crypto over here, we can see yet again another $1 billion worth of liquidations, right? Just short of that, 24-hour liquidations, 862 million. Of course, the majority of those are coming from longs. There will be a short squeeze at some point, right? And that's going to create a massive relief rally. Many will say that the bottom is in, but we have to look for bearish price structure following that, which theoretically would provide those of you with the opportunity to maybe exit some of those positions and de-risk, right? Those of you, the 75 to 100 or the 49% of you, which is half of the audience right now, that have voted that you're 75 to 100% in the market, you will be faced with that opportunity. So should you exit right now at these lows? Probably not, right? I probably wouldn't hit the market sell button right now while things have already crashed. Things like Solana down over 50%, Bitcoin as well down massively, and now fast approaching what should be major support. It could get a little bit worse, but at the end of the day, you want to wait for that relief rally and bounce before making your next major decision, right? Okay, so let's continue. We spoke about this yesterday. This chart right now, essentially, I guess it's confirmed that bearish divergence now at this point in time. And this is where you need to watch out for the relief rally. Again, going back to this breakdown candle, really you need to get back above that in order to get bullish. So rather wait for higher prices. We're getting volatility expansion. We've spoken a lot about this indicator. Obviously, we were hoping that that volatility expansion would be with price breaking out towards the upside, but we did speak about it. We said that these things are direction neutral. All that this tells you is that a big move is coming. That's all that it tells you. It doesn't tell you is the move going towards the upside or the downside. You have to use other confluent factors and technical analysis skill sets in order to determine the directional bias. Now, it has broken towards the upside. It could still fake out and come down one more time, which is what we have seen some other times before. Like here, broke back inside, at which point that would confirm that it was a shakeout, right? Or it's not really a shakeout at this point. I mean, we're beyond that. We've crashed, right? We've crashed over here, but it could shake out people at the worst possible time. So we'll continue to monitor this. The point is that if you do focus on something like this, the Bollinger Band with percentile, the move is, of course, now about 40% through. You expect weakness to be found around that 60 to 80% region where you start to near the end of that sell-off, right? But to make matters worse, you do have a bear moon. We spoke about this. We warned of this over 2 weeks ago already, suggesting that when price started to hover around here and it couldn't get above these EMAs, the 9 and the 18, that in the next 2 weeks, there could be a lot of trouble, right? And now you're starting to see that we got the bear moon. There will be a relief rally, but that relief rally could test the underside resistance, whilst there's still this bear moon, and prices could go low. And that's where you need to be really, really careful. So also fear and greed, right? If you go back to this is absolutely crazy. Fear and greed actually ticked up. So it was at 10 or 11 yesterday, now up to 16, which doesn't really make much sense to me. But there it is, 10, now spiking up to 16. Apparently people are over it. They're not that scared. I am very, very skeptical of this indicator. And I think that it's better to use other tool sets like the funding rates, looking for negative funding, which I should actually bring that up over here. Let me just quickly do a refresher and log in there, guys, quickly, because this is probably important. Let's just see where the funding is. I'll bring this in screen for you guys to see in a moment. Let's let that refresh. Okay, while that refreshes, let's continue. I'll bring that into the screen in just a moment. In terms of major support levels, well, what we can do is we can have a look to the prior all-time highs, right? That's, of course, going to be a very, very significant zone over here. So we're looking at this area over here. If price does come down into this zone, this is going to be a very critical spot where at the least you want to see some sort of support found, right? The fact that the 2-week scale has taken out the last 2-week low, the safest entry is to just sit on the sidelines and literally wait to reclaim the 2-week high, right? Then you know that there's some sort of reversal. So what you may see is you may see follow through all the way into here, something like this, and it could spend time there, right? Very, very similar to what we had here. The question that we posed in yesterday's show is, are we here or are we here, right? Which part of the screen are we on, right? Because it is possible. It's possible that we could be over here. If we are over here, the next relief rally that comes up over there becomes a shorting opportunity, and there will be that relief rally at some point in time, right? So watch as price comes down into these levels. We'll look on the daily scale now to find something a little bit more granular, but ultimately, there's going to be a massive amount of resistance off of that next bounce, and that's going to be the offloading opportunity and the shorting opportunity. That's your first major form of confirmation, right? So if it was a mini bear market, what I would expect is something like this. This is just drawing little LARP lines on the screen. If it was going to be a mini bear market, I'd be looking for something like that. I would want to still maintain this region over here, putting in a little bit of a macro high low, and then slowly grind up all the way into the end of the year for a final top, right? That's kind of your best case scenario. Anyway, let me quickly bring this back into the screen over here. I have got it. Let's pull that in. So in terms of the funding, you can see over here on the weekly scale, we still don't have negative funding over here, right? This might be something that kind of aligns over here with the fear and greed, which has actually ticked up. In extreme fear with capitulation-like signals, you expect that the aggregate funding rate average should go negative. Even on a weekly scale, but especially so on a daily scale. And I don't think that we've seen any of that yet, right? If we go on a daily scale, you had one little dot over here on the 3rd of February when we had that big liquidation event where we did get negative funding. But right now, funding is still positive. It means that there's still people that are trying to long the dip. They keep trying to long the dip, and that's why they keep getting liquidated. If we do go back to this chart over here, this is where those long liquidations keep coming from. This is how we keep getting a billion. Every 24 hours is $1 billion worth of liquidations that are taken. All right, let's continue. So looking at price action over here, we've now eventually sucked into the zone over here, which is what we said was always possible if you couldn't get above the point of control over there at 97,786, which we temporarily had one day above. And then the next day we got smashed down. Well, now we're back in the zone, right? This is the magnetic zone. Now we have to start to look for major support levels, which are probably going to be better found on the daily. You've melted through all the major ones, all the most significant ones. I am going to clean this chart up a little bit. So we're going to remove that. There we go. Let's take that away. We have our 50% fib level. We have the golden pocket. You've melted through that. We came into this zone. We said this was the most probable bounce zone. We got that bounce, but immediately failed that bounce over there because Trump came out with new tariff news. And now we're coming into the next support level, right? So this is going to be your daily fair value gap. You have a couple of them because we melted towards the upside previously in November. So you're now retracing into this zone. $78,690. Just below that, you also have a CME gap. I know a lot of traders are going to attempt to take this long trade, right? What they're going to do is they're going to, and I'm not suggesting that I'm going to do this or that you should do this, but what they're going to do is they're going to place their stop losses over here, right? So let's put the red line over there. Actually, let's change the color so as not to confuse you. We'll put an orange line over there. This is where they're going to place their stop loss. A lot of people are going to long this. 78,690. They're going to have their stop loss slightly below. Now, if the liquidation cascade continues and you keep liquidating $1 billion every single day, then you should already expect that these guys are probably going to get stopped out. And if they do get stopped out over here, so they're entering long right in here, they're going to get stopped over here just below 74,000, maybe over the course of the weekend. Then where's your next support level, right? Your next major support level is coming in at the next fair value gap, which is going to be this one over here. And this one's probably the most probable and final bounce zone, right? This is your last zone, right? At this point, you've liquidated every person that tried to catch the falling knife over and over again. And maybe they would have given up by this point, and this becomes the last line in the sand, 72,510. If those guys get taken out over there, you're coming for the dead zone. There it is, DED, the dead zone. We've spoken about that. At that point, the whole bull market is, the probability that you're going to make all-time highs greatly diminishes, and instead, you have to be looking for something like this, right? So if you just keep melting through, at this point, you then have to look for something like this, huge relief rally, lower high, and then you say that, well, at this point, maybe you're going into a bear market, right? Okay, so it's been very depressing. I see the comments on the screen, depressed because of this market. Absolutely. It's been a very, very difficult bull market. It really, really has. A lot of the OGs in the space have capitulated. They said they're leaving crypto. We've seen this over and over again, but this has probably been one of the worst times, right? Manipulation on a mass scale. But at the end of the day, all you can do is check the scoreboard. It doesn't matter if you had a skewed ref, even whether it was manipulation or not. Did you make money? Did you keep the money? That's the only thing that matters. And I do believe that the charts do show what's coming, right? So there it is, right? The next thing to look at is the Bitcoin dominance, right? You are holding this upsloping trend line. So theoretically, this is looking more like reaccumulation to me. That could easily go higher. So generally speaking, this starts to look like an ascending triangle. If this ascending triangle breaks out, the only way that I would see it breaking out is because prices are unfortunately cascading lower, at which point those who keep trying to buy the altcoins even now get wrecked even further, and then they capitulate, right? So mentally prepare for something like that. If you do break out of this, and we call this an ascending triangle, it would have a measured move that should line up somewhere, something similar to what we're seeing in terms of this 0.786. So if we have a look at this and we call that the breakout level, that could take Bitcoin dominance as high as that 68% mark, right? And if we look left, let's just see what's on the left-hand side. This would be your trend line. Maybe you break above that, slight deviation below. That's the final capitulation phase. But you have this pivot level running down the screen over here for Bitcoin dominance, showing, altcoins could keep getting hurt. So a very key point, similar to Bitcoin's dead zone that we highlighted over here, down at $66,000. If you look at the total cryptocurrency market cap, we spoke about this yesterday, you really want to see it hold 2.19 trillion, right? If it fails that, this is a really, really bad sign. It would mean that you do have to look for a major high low, which could come only later on in the year, right? You might see something like that, and then it could be over. This would have been one of the worst bull runs ever if that were the case. So only time will tell. We have to always plan for the worst and hope for the best, right? That's the way that things work. Going on to some of the other charts over here, total 2 is now broken back below the neckline of the cup and handle formation. Total 3 already lost some key levels quite a long time ago. It never actually broke above the neckline over here. If we look at others also a long time ago broke back below the neckline of the big cup and handle formation. When chart patterns fail, they fail bad, right? That's also an important thing to remember. You can see actually there is some bidding going on over here on the altcoins. So this is what I'm speaking about. The fact that people are still bidding altcoins shows that there is still liquidity, despite the fact that we think there's no liquidity left in the market. As long as people keep buying over here, there is liquidity, right? While Bitcoin goes down. These guys are crazy. People that are buying altcoins while Bitcoin's in free fall is absolutely insane. But, maybe they know something that I don't. So coming into this trend line, we are finding support. I just want to see a much more meaningful rally. Failure to rally from this zone still could mean altcoins drop down to the bottom of the range low, which, from that wick low would have been 39% over here. From current levels, that would be 45% down to sweep this this horizontal. Horizontals, TA-wise, are always more important to me, right? So I would expect that the super guppy indicator, which is the EMA ribbons over here, are going to start to turn red on the daily time frame for the total cryptocurrency market cap. We've already seen it turn red on total 2. It's now turned red officially as of this candle today on total 3, which is really your altcoin sector. And then your DGen alts have been red for quite some time, right? Total 3 against Bitcoin, red. And we have others against Bitcoin is also red, right? This one's squeezing up, which is interesting. Very, very interesting. We must pay attention to this. If there is some sort of a shift over here and a rotation into altcoins, we definitely want to play that, right? We need to be on high alert. I've outlined my positioning. My positioning is 100% cash, where I'll be looking for, trade opportunities. That's it. Why is this not loading? Let's just try that again. Okay, we have to probably refresh this. Or it doesn't work on that ratio chart, right? Let's go back there. There we go. So my positioning is I'm more looking for trade opportunities for the rest of the cycle. I'm not really here to be a long-term investor. I'm here to risk $1 to gain $5, for example, even if that be on the short side, right? So if we do have a relief rally and price starts to come down, I'm here to risk $1 to get $3.47, right? That's the plan of action, at least, that I'm going to be following. I think it is time to be very, very cautious and defensive. So looking at Bitcoin as it is in free fall below $80,000, 79,282. What I'm looking at over here is I'm trying to see, is there any form of divergences that are currently forming while price comes down? I have highlighted to 𝗬𝗲, if you want to be a knife catcher, this is kind of one thing that I'm watching. The CME gap also comes in at 77K, but this is a strong downtrend, and knife catching is a dangerous thing. It's called catching a falling knife for a reason. If you try it and you're not wearing gloves, what's going to happen? You're going to cut your hands, of course, right? So expect that you would get burnt, and therefore you need to do it with extreme caution. But I'm watching over here, price coming down into this trend line over here. This is all that we have to work with, right? What we have to work with is this. Let's just go back over here to line a few things up. So these are the things we have to work with. This is our trade, right? This is what I do. I watch, I look at the daily time frame to form my bias, and this is all taught in Whale Room, right? The private Discord. For those of you that do want to learn more, we discuss this often. So we've highlighted that. That's your daily fair value gap. This is the next area of support. Now I say, well, if this is the next area of support and it's coming in at what price? 78,690. I expect possibly, not guaranteed, but just maybe you get a little bit of a reaction off of that zone. So what I do is I go on a lower time frame and I look for a reason. Well, on the hourly, we do have bullish divergence. We're putting in higher lows on the momentum oscillator over here, which is clearly an oversold territory, while price is constantly putting in lower lows. Now, this is a bullish divergence on a super low time frame, right? Then I look at this over here. We have this wick. I'm trying to find something to work with. I'm trying to find any reason that I could see maybe there's a little reaction over there, small little long opportunity, and then you could take the trade. But the problem with this type of trading is, where do you place your invalidation, right? There is, there we go. There is nowhere to place your invalidation. Where are you going to put it? And where are you going to target? It just becomes catching a falling knife type of trade. And you would expect that, if this downtrend does persist, where are you going to trade this up to? Realistically, probably into the underside resistance over here before the last lower high. And then you're going to catch that 50 EMA, which is coming towards the downside, and you're going to reject, right? So understand the game that you're playing is incredibly risky if you do want to catch falling knives, right? That's all that I'm saying. So this is why we're watching. We're going to have a look at a couple of things. I also am here to help you guys. By the way, I have an opportunity for you guys. I'm going to do a little bit of a giveaway since the going is tough. I know a lot of people lost a lot of money. So what we'll do is we'll give away in the comment section for, let's say, the most endearing positive comment. Who wants a Bitfunded account, right? Let me know in the comments over there. If you do want a Bitfunded account, what is Bitfunded? Bitfunded is a challenge platform, essentially a prop firm where you are able to get funding. So, for example, you can pay $799 and you'll get $100,000 to trade with. But, of course, you have to pass the challenges. They don't just hand on a silver platter. This is not a charity. You have to pass stage 1, stage 2, and then on stage 3, if you pass these 2 stages, you're now trading with real money, right? With $100,000. Or if you want to go lower on the base, $79 is the trial fee. That is to get into the challenge. Pass stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, you're now given $5,000 to trade with, and you keep, I think it's 90% of all the profits, right? So we'll do some giveaways over here just to help you guys out. Shout out to Bitfunded. This was their idea. It came from them. They said, we understand the community is probably down a lot. So let's give away some of these Bitfunded accounts. Okay. Before I give them away, for those of you that maybe you don't get chosen, but you absolutely want a Bitfunded account, what we have said and arranged is, for the first 20 people, if you go to the link in the description below and you do purchase any Bitfunded account over there, for the first 20 people who do that, you guaranteed you will get one $5,000 account for free, right? That's a guarantee. All right, okay. Let's see who we're going to give some away to. So let me know in the comments. I told you the most endearing comments, right? The most endearing comments over here will get a Bitfunded account. So let's see. Okay, Bitfund me, please. That's not that endearing. Let's see what else. Okay. Who needs a Bitfunded account is more the question, right? So we have a comment over here from Mihala. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Eli, yes, you've won yourself a Bitfunded account. I think you have to email giveaways@cryptobanter.com. Giveaways@cryptobanter.com. If you were chosen, right? You need to use, you need to have an email with your name in it at least. Okay, let's check a couple more over here, and then we'll do some chart requests as well. We'll look at some of the altcoins. Okay, guys, just checking the comments over here. Okay, long the revolution. Stay strong, stay healthy. You need to put hashtag Bitfunded. That is good advice. Stay strong, stay healthy. Don't stay long forever, because that won't be too healthy. Okay, let's see. What else, guys? Bitfunded, save your life. It's amazing. That's from Incognito. Okay, Wayne Powell. You got yourself a Bitfunded account. Okay, you got yourself a Bitfunded account. Arturo Luna, you got yourself a Bitfunded account. Remember, please email giveaways@bitfunded.com, right? Giveaways@bitfunded.com. Let's see. Joel, you also got yourself a Bitfunded account. Okay, we'll give it to Paul. Paul over here, you also got yourself a Bitfunded account, especially if you have Doggy Shark as a profile picture. I can only imagine how wrecked you must be. I haven't even heard of that meme coin, so it's definitely at 0. Okay, what else? Let's choose a couple more. King Trader, bit me up, bro. Bit me up. You've been bitted up. You got yourself a Bitfunded account. Wait, where did this message go? He has a good one, right? JHMW, you definitely got a Bitfunded account. He got fired and he lost all of his money in crypto. Definitely you're getting a Bitfunded account. There's an opportunity for you to try and make it back. All right, guys, let's get into the comment section for altcoin requests. Please do let me know. Wait, one more. I want to give this to where is that comment, guys? There's one more that I must give it to. Just give me a second. Sorry, guys. Talk amongst yourselves. Here we go. Tindo, the African degen. We have to give to Tindo. Tindo is a MVP, always in the chats, right? MVP player over here, so always in the chats. You definitely get a Bitfunded account. We do appreciate that you're always here for us. So thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it. All right, we'll do some more maybe on the next show. Let's leave it at that so we can get straight into the altcoins. Okay, so Bitcoin still coming down over there. What else have we got over here? Let's get into some of the altcoins. Let's move on to the daily time frames. And let's see if there's any divergences on the daily. So of course it's oversold, but there's still no bullish divergence on the daily time frame. As price goes lower, what happens to the momentum oscillator? It continues to go lower, right? It is oversold though. It's one of the most oversold that it's been. So there will be violent bounces towards the upside at some point in time. Let's have a look at Silly Solana over here. So Silly Solana also oversold, coming down, but you guys will probably remember what I told you over here. I said that your next major key support is going to be at this $120 region, but based on the momentum of the move, it's probably going to smash straight through that, right? That's my expectation. I wouldn't be surprised to see it dip even below $100, right? And then get some sort of a deviation. Let's just see how far away is that, price-wise. That would be another 22, 23% away. So things could unravel over the course of the weekend, especially with the low, the low volatility and the markets are closed. Remember, Trump loves dropping the ball or the bomb at least with some sort of a major announcement on Fridays when the markets are closed. So us crypto bros can get wrecked over the weekend with our 24-hour, 24/7 markets. And then they come back on Monday, digest everything, get a little bit rational, and then the stock market opens and they're okay, right? So be prepared for that. That's a possibility. Okay, Pepe losing this trend, pretty brutal. Next major support, you are approaching it. 684, the last 3 digits over there with many zeros before that. If it does lose that, range low, 481. Hectic, very, very hectic, right? If we look at SUI, this is an example of some of the coins that have held up a little bit better than Bitcoin. It hasn't taken out that low, right? So Bitcoin is already trading all the way down here. So for SUI, if it does break down, that would be what I'd be looking for, is a sweep below this $2.20 zone over here, possibly even into 190, and then a little bit of a deviation. So I won't be a knife catcher. I'll wait for I'll wait for that. I'll wait for the breakdown, reclaim, and then you're looking for some bad mean relief rallies towards the upside right after everybody capitulates. Hype, right? Hype is coming down. It's a difficult one because of the lack of price history. Remember, a lot of people airdrop this as well for free. So they already got the massive run over there, and then others bought it around like $3 early. So yeah, I mean, if Bitcoin comes down, I wouldn't want to be putting risk into any of the altcoins. We can look at, here we go, at Sonic. So look, this is your last major high low. This is going to be a pretty key point over here. You got your 618 coming in at that zone over there that led to the initial move up. There was a lot of selling coming into this zone. So I definitely want to see support to be found on Sonic around that 56.7. If I were to, play into the altcoin sector for the relief rally. These are some of the things I would be interested in, though, right? I'd still be looking at Solana. I'd be looking at Sui. I'd be looking at Berachain. I'd be looking at Sonic. What else? What else? Okay, let's see. How's Casper doing? We exited this position a long time ago, but you know, looking like full distribution, right? So next major levels, this thing could come realistically full retrace, the big initial pump over here, which means you can expect this to come down to about 5.1, right? 0.051 is real possibility. It's taking out the low, similar to what Ethereum's doing. We should look at Ethereum as well. That's 34, right? 34 cents over there, or 34%, excuse me. So there's Ethereum, what I said, similar. Ethereum's already taking out that level. Any bullish divergence, not on the daily yet. You need to look to the old trading range. Mid-levels coming in at about 1900. And if it loses that, 1750. And then if it loses that, you're talking about $1,500 for ETH. So worst time ever to be an ETH maxi. It's been brutal for the ETH maxis, right? Terrible. Okay, what else, guys? Let me know in the comments. Cool. Let's see. What else have we got? How's Checks doing? Okay, also coming down. Checks is approaching also major support. So this would be the equivalent of Bitcoin coming into that 70K region. Checks, part of the real world asset sector. Definitely, I don't think a bad play for the long run. If you do see risk come back into the market, you know, I'd just be looking for something like that. Keep an eye out on Checks over there. But of course, like the rest of the market, it has come down. All right, what else, guys? Cool, AVAX. We can have a look at AVAX. AVAX never really took off this cycle. It's been brutal. It kind of reminds me of ETH. You know, probably could easily see full retrace back down to at least now 15. So it's bad. It looks bad, right? It's got a lot of work to do. Most of these coins, all that you need to do is look down to the breakdown level, and that's the zone that you need to reclaim, right? So for any strength to come back into the market, it's got so much work. I don't know why you would ever want to trade AVAX. This would have to come above 35, right? And even then, it's probably going to be weak, a limp bounce, right? Okay, Dogecoin. Yeah, let's have a look at Dogecoin, which is obviously one of the biggest of the memes. How is this held up in this carnage? Looks pretty much like the rest. Okay, well, wherever that trade plan was, that definitely failed. Straight down, right? Straight down over here. Let's just clean this up. Such a messy chart. Level to level. Once you lost this level, was bad. Oversold on the RSI. All right, yeah, full retrace. Also kind of looks like Ethereum. Straight down, falling wedge, big pump up, full retrace of all of that. Dogecoin, you know, probably down to about 14 cents, I would say. Okay, so it's getting smashed. People are actually still bidding some of these memes. It's unreal. By the way, I don't know if you guys saw, they came out with essentially saying that memes are not securities. Also, no government officials are allowed to launch a meme. That was yesterday's news. Any thoughts on Goku? Yes, I do have thoughts on Goku. I still think Goku is a strong meme, but it's definitely going to be just like the rest of everything else. It needs liquidity to come into the market, right? You need some sort of a turn within the market, and then I think it will do very, very well. I'm still holding all of mine. Okay, that's one of the memes that I am holding. All right, what else, guys? 𝗬, we can have a look at 𝗬. All right, let's go. 𝗬 over here, down 7.3%. Okay, so 𝗬, no bullish divergence yet. Man, all of these charts look terrible. It's lost the mid-range. I have to look all the way down to the bottom of the range at about 232. It's just in absolute free fall. Okay, Bonk also already lost the bottom of the range. Yes, momentum oscillator is oversold, but this is starting to mark down. Next level of interest is going to be about 952. Ondo, we can have a look at Ondo, real world assets. Let's just quickly go there. There we go, Ondo. Also back down to the bottom of the trading range. Let's just clean this up a little bit. Okay. See if you've got anything over here. How does this line up? I mean, it was near where the old range low was, but yeah, I wouldn't touch it. I would just wait for strength, right? It's in free fall. So first area of support is going to be this trend line, which I don't love diagonals for support, but 68. Let's double check quickly on Bitcoin. How's it doing in relation to this zone? So again, I'm not necessarily longing this, but I wouldn't be surprised if you test that 77,433 and maybe put in a bit of a bounce. Let's quickly go back to Bitcoin and see how those divergences are working out on the lower time frame over here. Okay, just let that load up. Okay, stochastic RSI as well, and the hourly over there is reset. 30 minutes reset, 15 minutes still coming down, 5 minutes reset, 4 hours still on its way down. Hourly, we're looking at the hourly over here though. Okay, I think it can't do the divergences on such a low time frame. Let's just see on if this is going to load up over here. Sorry guys, sometimes it, okay, there we go. Right as I get a refresh. Okay, back to Bitcoin. Sorry guys, 1 second. And on the hourly over there. Okay, let's just have a look at this quickly. I am checking the comments as well. While we wait for this, I'm not sure why it's so slow today. Okay, too slow, too slow. All right, what else? Chainlink, we can have a look at Chainlink. We can have a look at Mantra as well. This is taking too long, so we'll just go straight to that. There we go. Chainlink. Let's go to Chainlink. Okay. I think, well, we covered Chainlink last time. I told you that the most likely outcome is Chainlink is going to come down just below $10, around that $9 to $10 region. Expect a bit of support to be found within that region, right? And then the other one that you asked for is Mantra. We know Mantra's been one of the strongest ones. I think when we looked at Mantra yesterday, it did have a major support. Look at that, still holding up, right? 0.62%. This thing's probably going to have another run. The fact that it's holding up over here, when the market has that relief rally, I think this will have its final pump. Is it going to be a vertical one like the rest of these? I don't know, but probably, right? One more pump on Mantra, and then I would honestly be completely out of that. That would be the end for me. All right, Rune. Let's have a look at Rune. Rune USDT. Okay. Momentum oscillator moved up a lot on this move. So, you know, it doesn't have much momentum behind it to get higher. So I would have to say bearish, right? Once it takes out these lows at about 113, it's going to continue to cascade down. You know, let it be a lesson that you really want to look at every single coin that you're in, vet it, look at it against the USD pair, look at it against Bitcoin. I think the real lesson for many people within this cycle is to not lose touch with their positions, right? So in terms of, like, you know, what you can do differently is rather remain more concentrated in fewer positions, but you keep your finger on the pulse of those positions, as opposed to like spray and praying, right? You know, shotgun approach, spray and pray. You're just like shooting bird shot all over the place, and you just hope that some of those things are going to take off, or you're going to hit something that's going to win, right? Rather remain a bit more concentrated. In this regard, the crypto cycles have definitely changed slightly. It's definitely become a lot more saturated and difficult. And therefore, that's why you see things like Bitcoin dominance obviously just ripping towards the upside. Where's that Bitcoin dominance chart of ours? Also, let's quickly see how far we almost hit that daily fair value gap. Here it is, coming right in on the zone. 78,690, right? 78,690. That is the level. 78,690. Here's our Bitcoin dominance chart. This is why it's so high, right? This has been pretty uncharacteristic at this point, timing-wise in the cycle. By now, we've seen a full breakdown in Bitcoin dominance, and the memes have gone crazy, right? Okay, let's go to. I just want to see Bitcoin on this time frame. So let's line this up. I don't know if I'm going to wait live on the show. We can see, but this would be the area of interest, right? Let's see what happens over here. How much further down has it got to go to hit that fair value gap? Let's put in the exact zone. So 78,690. 78,690. We'll chuck something in with that. 78,690. Okay, there we go. And that is, I mean, we're basically hitting it. Did it not save? 78,690. Let's just refresh that. daily FEG. All right. So you're basically tagging it like right now. It's right over there. So look for something like that. I mean, if you are a bit of a degen and you want to fast trade, this is the type of stuff we discuss in Whale Room. For those of you that are interested in joining, I'd watch for something like this. I'd probably let it hit this level. I wouldn't buy it over there. I'd just let it hit the level. And then I'll just simply observe on the low time frames. Like, is it getting a bit of a bounce? Is there a bit of a reaction off of this line? If so, are you seeing more wicks that are forming like higher and higher over here? And as it starts to reclaim that fair value gap, maybe at that point you consider that the deviation. Then you can say, yeah, it's deviating this level. Then you start to scale into the trade, right? Take a position there. You have a bit of a stop loss underneath over here, and you have to target back into those previous highs. That would be the scalp trade that I'd be looking at. Okay, Pro Hassan, fund me up. I got liquidated. Okay, you have been funded, right? Please email giveaways@cryptobanter.com. You need to email with, I don't know, something in the email address that's still your name, Pro Hassan. All right. Cool, guys. I think let's leave it at that. Thank you so much all for watching. I'll catch you all on the next one. For the rest of you, I'll see you over the course of the weekend. Of course, I'll be in the Whale Room Discord active if anything does pop up. Otherwise, for the rest of you, I'll see you probably on Monday. I hope you all have an absolutely lovely day. Stay safe out there. And cheers for now, everyone. Bye.